Hi everybody, we're trying out a new location today for our video. I hope you all enjoyed the new formatting with the last series of videos for letter formation. Today we're going to talk a little bit about cutting, and I'm going to show you two different activities that you can do at home that don't require any printing, but we're also going to talk about some of the different things that are up in the classroom for printing. So let me get set up and then we will continue. Okay, everybody. So for today's cutting video, all I have is one single piece of paper I cut in two because we have two cutting activities. You can cut or fold and tear your paper down into however many pieces you want based off of how many pieces of paper you have access to. The other equipment I have is a pen, or you can also use a marker or a crayon or a colored pencil. I just happen to have a cute little puppy dog pen with me for today. A pair of scissors, and some tape. So this is just regular washi tape, but you can use any tape you have. I chose yellow, so it could be a little bit of sunshine for our day. So the first one that we're going to talk about, the first activity, is with our pen. And all you're going to do with your pen is you're going to write the words start and finish somewhere on your paper. Typically, you want the word start to be on an edge. I did mine in the top corner. You could put it on any of the sides. You could put it in the middle, anywhere you want. But you typically want it to be on a corner because that's where our scissors are going to start. And then you're going to write the word finish or end. I'm going to write the word end, and I'm going to put it in the middle. So I have start and end. And then I'm going to take my pen, and on my page I'm going to draw a maze basically around from start to end. And it can go in whatever way I kind of want, as long as it meets up at end. It kind of looks like the letter E. And then all I would do from there would be I would, proceed to cut it out like it's a maze, and I'm going from start to end. And when I cut with my scissors, I'm going to use one hand to hold the scissors, usually whichever hand holds your pencil. If you're not sure, feel free to reach out to me and we can hop on a quick video and figure out what works for you. And then my other hand is going to hold that piece of paper. Okay? And I'm going to open the scissors and I'm going to start to cut. And as I am closing down on the scissors to make my cut across the page, I'm actually using that other hand to control where it's going, right? And when we use our scissors, it's kind of like driving the car. We want to stay on the road. We want to be able to see the road as we go. And we just follow the road. And if the road stops, now my line doesn't have any severe points or turns or curves. But if the road were to stop or come to a curve, then just like our car, we would slow down to a stop. And then we would turn the car and turn the page in the way that we need to continue going. And you just follow down the road like that. Take your time. We're not in a rush when we cut. We're just making sure that we're following our line. And we want straight cuts. And the best way to make a straight cut is actually, if you have big scissors kind of like mine, to feed the paper way to the back of the scissors. So you just have all that length and all that time to make one continuous cut, and I'm not making lots of short, choppy cuts. The more frequently you're opening and closing the scissors, the more likely you're having some jagged cuts. So try really, really hard to just very slowly close the scissors down, right? And I find it easiest to keep my paper in the back of the scissors. And see, now I'm here hitting this part where I've got some tight turns, and so my hand that isn't holding the scissors is just turning the paper as I go. The scissors stay relatively straight. The paper is what's turning. And I would just keep going until I got to the end, okay? So this is what I have so far. I have it pretty much cut out. I'm gonna move on for time's sake to the other piece of paper, and we're gonna take our tape. Like I said, you can use any tape. Clear Scotch tape might be the hardest, but you could always color over it with a marker or a highlighter just so you can see where it is. Or you could put a crayon or marker or highlighter line down below it and then put the tape over it, because the tape does serve more purposes than just a visual aid for us here. So you can tear your tape or you can cut it. That is up to you. And again, you could write start and finish on your paper if you wanted. In essence, we're doing a really similar sort of thing here to what we did before, just with tape. And I'm going to talk about why using the tape is really beneficial versus continuing to just draw lines. And part of that is because it does provide us with a really fun visual, and it allows us to practice cutting the tape if we wanted, or our pinch strength, which is really good for that fine motor, which we've talked about a lot. Oops. And the other part that is really nice about using the tape is it adds a thickness to the paper. So sometimes when we're cutting, and we're cutting so out of control and wild that we just really are creating all kinds of jagged cuts and lines, sometimes that's because the paper's so thin that our bodies and brains are just having a hard time with the thickness of the paper. And so if we add a little bit of thickness, sometimes it adds a little bit of a sensory component, and it helps our brains to better understand what we're up to. So just putting the finishing touches on here. All right, so here is my finished maze. It almost looks like a part of a star, kind of. So what I would do is I would take my scissors and I would follow along the tape, trying to cut down the middle of the tape, almost as if it was a maze for my scissors. You could make it more complicated or less complicated, but there is a definite added thickness when I'm cutting over the tape. And so it might just help you to slow your scissors down, give yourself a little bit more control, and really help you feel where you're cutting. The other thing you can do to create thickness is you can use thicker paper. So try and practice cutting on construction paper, or use a piece of paper and fold it in half twice, or whatever you need to do. So here's my finished maze. And that's just ways that we can practice cutting at home. There are activities up in the Google Classroom for cutting. They are just worksheets that allow you to practice cutting straight lines, that allow you to practice cutting wiggly lines, circles, squares, spirals, even have some little cutting crafts in there where you can make art from cutting. So check those out for sure. We did just recently revamp a little bit in the classroom, so just make sure you go and look at what's there, because it's different now, okay? All right, thank you guys so much for joining. I know this one was a little bit long, but we had a bit of a hands-on demonstration, so I hope that helps. And I will see you guys next time. Have a great day. Keep occupied, keep busy, and stay kind to one another. Bye.